пиццам дурте, виде мистер пицца, но чихрет поемте, chicken bus, dinner дурте, байер бухан битнде беден минни чинни eten дурте, мистер пицца, айда пицца! Хайри ламс дуртен пицца, худора дурте, хойш ми пицца, сахан ан, сайта ми пицца, таксан ан, тунна пицца, аннасте пицца, анте пицца, неди дурте, новота пицца, I like pizza, we like pizza! We like pizza in the morning, we like pizza every day, we like pizza in the evening, we like pizza anyway.
Hey, I'm Tom Mealy from Madhouse TV.
And I am Tommy Moore.
We are down here at Salvatore's Pizza. We're on Comag Road here, just south of
Grand Boulevard.
And I got to tell you, Tommy and I have had the opportunity of eating pizza from Montauk to Manhattan. Tommy, what makes this pizza so good?
Well, anybody that knows Italian food knows is all about the sauce, and that is what's so good about this place. We stumbled upon it. The man has treated us like gold. He makes the best sauce around. I'm telling you, it's unbelievable. And he makes things that no one else makes. I mean, and his items take a lot longer and a lot more care, and he uses the best products. So
let's get Sal in here right now. We're going to ask him what makes his pizza the number one pizza that brings Madhouse TV to this restaurant at least 3 times a week. All right, Sal, tell us what makes your sauce keep bringing all the folks from Madhouse TV back to it. Right into the mic here.
I think it's we use fresh ingredients, fresh tomatoes, fresh oregano, fresh basil. What else do we do? I don't know. It's a secret. It's a good sauce. It's a sweet sauce, not too sweet, but.
In Napoli, where love is king, when boy meets girl, here's what they say.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore. When the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine, that's amore. Bells will ring, ting-a-ling-a-ling, ting-a-ling-a-ling, and you'll sing Vita Bella. Hearts will play tippy-tippy-tay, tippy-tippy-tay, like a gay tarantella. When the stars make you drool, just like a pasta fazool, that's amore. When you dance down the street with a cloud at your feet, you're in love. When you walk in a dream, but you know you're not dreaming, signore. Scusa me, but you see, back in old Napoli, that's amore.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore.
That's amore.
When the world seems to shine like you've had too much wine, that's amore.
That's amore.
Bells will ring,
Ting-a-ling-a-ling,
ting-a-ling-a-ling,
and you'll sing Vita Bella.
Vita Bella, hearts will play.
Tippy-tippy-tay, tippy-tippy-tay, like a gay tarantella.
Tommy, we got to let's put a little pepperoni on there too. Tommy dropped the oregano, as you can see over here.
Stars make
Okay, let me have
you
an intro
drool
to
just
this.
like pasta fazool, that's amore.
That's amore.
Put it around
When
the
you
edges.
dance down the street,
Put it around the
with
edges.
the cloud at your feet, you're in love. When you
All
walk
right, get that multa, not so much.
in a
Only make it half and half because I don't like
but
a lot of stuff like that. You putting mushrooms on there? Sal, you keep doing what you got to do. Listen, your pies are outstanding. We love them. If somebody wants to order a pie, give us a phone number.
586-1771.
Okay. And the address here?
348 Comac Road, Deer Park, Long Island.
Obviously. Hey, listen, guys. Seriously, all kidding aside, Tommy and I have had the opportunity of had pizzas all over Long Island into the boroughs. We've been to the Bronx, we've been to Brooklyn, but I have to tell you, we will never endorse an item unless we fully believe in it. And this pizza here is the best here on Long Island. Check them out on the web. Come down to the store, give them a call, order a pie today.
There's a power for good in the universe. It lifts your life to its highest level. As you tap into this power, it brings success, companionship, happiness, and peace of mind. This power will respond to you because this power is within you. And that's why spirituality rocks. Welcome. I'm your host, Dr. Janine Burns of the Guiding Light Foundation. Delighted to be with you this week on Spirituality Rocks, filmed live at the Madhouse Studios in Deer Park, Long Island, New York. I have two fantastic and exciting guests today. With me from Atascadero, California. It's a hard one to say, Dr. Frank.
That's all right.
He's from the Awakening Way Spiritual Community, Dr. Frank zumMallen. And in the studio I have with me Christina Goetjen of the Daniel Gale Agency. But first off, I want to start by talking to you about affirmations. It was William James, who is an American philosopher. He was a psychologist and MD. He's considered the father of American psychology. And he said, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their attitudes of mind." When we talk about affirmations, we're talking about statements of truth. They're also called declarations. They're made in a positive way, and they are made in the present tense. And they are intended to alter your attitude, eliminate negative self-talk, and assist you in reaching your dreams and living the life of your dreams. And so affirmations are very easy to create and use. And when you first start saying positive affirmations, they may not be true, but with repetition and over time, they sink into the subconscious mind and they form a thought pattern. And through the law of mind, which some people call the law of attraction, through the law of mind, which is actually the creative power in action, is called the law, they will become a reality in your life experience. And so over time, oversaying affirmations can and will overwrite any limiting or negative beliefs that you have about yourself or about experiences in your life. And as you replace your patterns of thinking with positive thoughts and belief, you'll have more confidence, you'll have a greater positive attitude, you'll have more ambition, and much, much more. Now, when you create affirmations, you need to focus on what you want, not what you don't want. For example, you could say, "I choose to be fit, healthy, and strong," rather than saying, "I don't want to be sick and unhealthy." That's not an affirmation. Why? Because your subconscious mind does not know the difference between I want and I don't want. It just hears the idea of what you're saying. So it's either going to hear, in this case, fit, healthy, and strong, or sick and unhealthy. And so if you want to master your affirmations to create wealth and prosperity, etc., you must keep them in the positive tense and in the present tense. So I want to give you some examples of affirmation that you might want to use that would be nourishing and supportive. You can start with I am, you can start with I choose, you can start with I will. How about with relationships? All my relationships are now loving and harmonious. Or I attract only loving and uplifting, encouraging, supportive people in my life. Or my friends are naturally loving and supportive. Or I earn good money doing what I enjoy. Or every day wonderful opportunities are opening up. Or I'm successful in whatever I choose to do. Now, some people, when I've worked with them doing spiritual coaching, have said to me, well, I don't like doing affirmations, or they're difficult to do, because when I say a positive affirmation, a negative thought pops up. So if I say, let's say I have a cold, and I say I'm healthy, strong, and vital, and I start coughing, then my mind says to me, oh, you're sick. What, are you crazy? That's not true. Well, yes, that can happen. The point is you say your affirmation until it supplants the negative belief. I have another way that you can do it, though, that is actually quite effective. So that if you're saying, I have loving, supportive, and relationships, and you think, well, you know, my friends are not loving and supportive, you can ask a question and say, why are all my relationships loving, nourishing, supportive? The point is, when you ask a question, the subconscious mind loves a question, because the subconscious mind works like a Google search engine to answer your question. Unfortunately, oftentimes we don't ask the right questions. We have a life experience and something goes wrong and we say, oh, how could I have been so stupid? Or why did I make such a crummy decision? Those are negative questions. And your subconscious mind will go on a mission to answer that question, how could I have been so stupid? And it'll remind you of when you were in 3rd grade and the teacher made you stand in the corner, or remind you of all sorts of events and circumstances that will answer that question. Whereas, if you take a positive affirmation and put a why in front of it, such as, why are all my relationships loving and harmonious? Why are my friends supportive of me? Why every day are there new opportunities opening up for me? Why am I always successful in all my undertakings? The subconscious mind goes on a mission to answer that question, and through the law of mind also goes on a mission to make it a reality in your life experience. So practice asking why. And also what it kicks in, the universe, as I've explained to you before, the 2 main aspects of God, infinite intelligence, whatever you choose to call spirit, is love and wisdom. Love is the glue that holds the universe together and that connects us in oneness. And divine ideas are our direct inheritance from this infinite intelligence that is within us. So the universe will always give you divine ideas in answer to your questions. So this is a wonderful way to practice affirmations. And this is what we teach in New Thought. We teach that the power is within you. We teach that your thinking is creative. So I invite you to begin asking questions with your affirmation. Here are my 3 favorite ones. Why am I so happy? Why am I so healthy? And why am I so wealthy? Why is Christina so happy? Why is Christina so healthy? Why is Christina so wealthy? Why is Frank so happy? Why is Frank so healthy? Why is Frank so wealthy? I have them hanging on my wall in my office. I have my brother's name is Jay. Why is Jay so happy? Why is Jay so healthy? Why is Jay so wealthy? You can do it for yourself. You can do it for others. And remember, the kinds of things you ask yourself are critical. So make sure that your why questions are positive. And if a negative thought starts to crop up, replace that negative thought with words that affirm your divine nature. I am one with God. God is joy, therefore I am joy. God is peace, therefore I am peace. God is power, therefore I am power. God is love, therefore I am love. And remember, whatever you choose to work with your affirmations, say them out loud. Test them, feel them, practice them, make adjustments until they're just right for you, because remember, feeling is the fuel that propels your thoughts into manifestation. Feeling is the fuel. So pump up your affirmations. Make them nice and juicy. I am healthy, I am wealthy, and I am happy, happy, happy. And as you begin to say these day after day, they will go into the subconscious mind, create that pattern through which the law will manifest, and suddenly you will live the principles that we teach in New Thought and really manifest and demonstrate these principles to a fantastic degree. So, practice those affirmations. We're going to be back in just a moment with Spirituality Rocks with Dr. Frank zumMallen from the Awakening Way Spiritual Community and with Christina Goetjen of the Daniel Gale Agency in Cold Spring Harbor. So stay tuned for more of Spirituality Rocks.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully, I am divine.
She's real fine, my 409. She's real fine, my 409, my 409. Well, I saved my pennies and I saved my dimes. Giddy up, 409. For I knew there would be a time. Giddy up, 409. When I would buy a brand new 409. 409. Giddy up, 409. Giddy up, 409. Giddy up, 409. Giddy up, 409. Nothing can catch her, nothing can touch my 409. 409. Ooh, giddy up, giddy up. 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 When I take her to the drag, she really shines. Giddy up, 409. She always turns in the fastest time. Giddy up, 409. My 4-speed dual quad positive traction 409. 409. Giddy up, 409. Giddy up, 409. Giddy up, 409. Giddy up, 409. Nothing can catch her, nothing can touch my 409. 409. 409. 409. 409.
Hey, I'm Tommy Marr, and here I am out in the Car Circus at 3304 Route 112, Medford, New York. The phone number is 631-346-3555, and I'm with the owner, Mr. Ron Siegel, and I just want to let you know I am from Madhouse TV, and we are here today to pick up our van. And the great thing about this place, which I feel is the great thing, Ron, is that we called you up, we told you what we needed. The next day you called us, we had it, and here we are today picking it up.
Well, we're happy to be able to help you, Tom, and your van is over there waiting for you to pick up.
We're going to get it wrapped very shortly.
I understand it's going to say Madhouse TV over it.
That's
and,
right.
It should be really, really cool. Now, the next thing we want to tell anybody that comes to Car Circus, we've got all kinds of things available here for you. We deal in inexpensive used cars, starting at about $4,000, and it goes up to about $20,000. But the biggest thing is that we've got financing available for everyone, whether you've got good credit and you get 1.74%, or you've got some bruised credit and you've had some trouble in the past. Doesn't matter if you're not working, if you're on fixed income. We've got a finance program that works for everybody.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I actually years ago worked in a used car lot. This is massive. I mean, the selection here is unbelievable. You got at least 100 cars here, at least.
We've got a lot of cars here, and we have our own service department on premise too, which is really, really great.
Well, I'll tell you also what to mention that.
Every car that we sell comes with a warranty.
And you do the work right here.
And we do the work right here. Yes, we do.
One-stop shop. You know, this is the place to be. So if I recommend it, you should take it, because we don't recommend anything we don't believe in. And I'll tell you something. This man is a man of his word. Everything we asked him to do, he did immediately. No muss, no fuss. Get it done. Here we are, and we're actually picking up the van today. And Ron, I can't thank you enough. And I'm overwhelmed by how big this place is and how well run it is. It's really amazing.
Thank you very much. And check us out online at www.carcircus.net.
Absolutely. And again, that's Car Circus, 3304 Route 112, Medford, New York. The phone number is
631-346-3555, and we're just a mile and a half north of the LIE, right across the street from Country Fair.
Can't beat it. quick and easy. This is the man to see, Mr. Ron Siegel. Tell him Madhouse TV sent you, and you all have a great day.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully, I am divine.
Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. I'm your host, Dr. Janine Burns, and I teach New Thought Spiritual Principles each week on Spirituality Rocks. And this week we're talking about evolving consciousness, and it's a very exciting topic. Before that, I want to tell you a couple opportunities. If you send me a self-addressed stamped envelope to Post Office Box 472 in Woodbury, New York, the address is on the banner across the stream, we will send you a spiritual prescription. And this spiritual prescription, what's so cool about it is it looks just like a medical prescription, but on the bottom, it says that it's filled by the power of spirit within and do not contaminate with negative thoughts. On the back of it, there's an affirmative prayer that you can use for your experience. You can put in that which you choose to experience, and it teaches you how to do affirmative prayer. All you have to do is send a self-addressed stamped envelope, and we'll get that off to you. Also, we have this CD available. It's of spiritual jingles. You hear one of them as you go into the break. And I put this one together, and Deepak Chopra said about it that Dr. Burns delivers powerful affirmations in a fresh new way to uplift, inspire, and create positive change, including shipping. It is $13, including shipping. And you can send a check to Post Office Box 472, and we'll get that right off to you. All righty, evolving consciousness. Wow, do we have a hot topic today. Dr. Frank zumMallen is with the Center for the Spiritual Leading of the Awakening Ways Spiritual Community in Atascadero, California. Try to say that 3 times real fast, Dr. Frank. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Dr. Janine. How are you today?
Fantastic. And I'd like you to meet in the studio. We have Christina Goetjen, and she is with the Daniel Gale Agency in Cold Spring Harbor.
Yes, it is. Daniel Gale, Sotheby's International Realty in Cold Spring Harbor. Absolutely, Janine.
Welcome
Thanks.
to the show. Great to have you. And may we call you Frank? We'll just drop the title.
Please do, Janine.
I have known Frank for quite a really, really long time. Just fantastic. And he's got a resume as long as my arm because Frank is an ordained minister of religious science. He's a graduate of Emerson Theological Institute, and currently he is a faculty member at Emerson Institute. He holds a BA and an MS in education. He has doctorates in divinity and religious study. He's a student of transpersonal psychology, as well as both Eastern and Western mysticism. Frank has spent many years as a teacher of practical spirituality and applied metaphysics. In addition, he's trained as a precognitive, re-educative, intuitive healing facilitator, and he's a real love professional relationship coach, which we're going to talk a little bit more about later. So, Frank is the past president of the affiliated New Thought Network, and that's how I know Frank. You will see in one of our banners, you can contact the affiliated New Thought Network at www.newthought.org if you would like to find a spiritual community in your neighborhood where you can learn practical spirituality. Frank is also a member of the Advisory Council of the Association for Global New Thought. Welcome, Dr. Frank.
Hi, Janine.
You know, yesterday, Christina, I was talking to Dr. Frank, and I said, Frank, you're a genius, because I've heard Frank, and Frank is kind of like a walking encyclopedia. He's like me. He can read something, and his brain just stamps it in there, and you can pull it back. But he reads some deep books, like the kind of books that you need to read with a dictionary. And I said, Frank, why haven't you written a book? What's going on? Why haven't you written a book? And he said...
Because every time I try, something tells me not to. My intuition tells me not yet. You don't know the answers, you only know the questions.
Ah, you only know the questions. That's quite a nice tie into what we were talking about before, which was saying your affirmations as a question.
Right.
You know, when we talked yesterday, you were talking a lot about the evolutionary imperative. Tell us more, please.
Well, the evolution of consciousness has always fascinated me because as a young child growing up, we all go through periods of time when our consciousness is expanding. We go from the strictly egoic mind, where we're focused only on ourselves, where everything is about us, which is why so many of us are so screwed up. You know, from the time we're born until we're 10 years old, everything is about us, even if it isn't.
Yes.
And then we finally, as we begin to mature, we begin to become more aware and more interactive with everyone else in the world, and we come to a place of compassion, of being able to understand others. But there's a place at the very beginning where we basically have no egoic mind at all, where it's all subconscious. And I was reminded of a statement of Emerson's that all history is biography. And if that's true, something told me there was a time in our history where we didn't have a conscious mind. And I began thinking about that, and my logic said, well, it must have been when we evolved from whatever was the pre-Cro-Magnon human into Cro-Magnon.
Right.
And as it turns out, that may not be true. In fact, there's a lot of research that was done by a man named Julian Jaynes down at Princeton back in the 60s and 70s that suggests that the conscious mind may only be about 3,000 years old.
Wow. He was a neuroscientist, right?
So what's that?
He was a neuroscientist?
Yes, he was a neuroscientist, and did a lot of his work based on ancient texts so that he could take a look at the ancient texts and determine what the consciousness of those people was. And what he found was that there's a really strong indicator that basically humans didn't have a conscious mind, but what they had was a God voice inside their head.
Ah.
And he hypothesized that it was because the corpus callosum, the membrane between the two hemispheres of the brain, hadn't connected in the way that it is today, and that literally when the right and left brain were communicating, the left brain was hearing the right brain as a voice, as the voice of God.
Ooh, ooh.
And, you know, it's always, to me, it's always been really, in our teaching, in the teaching of New Thought, we tend to talk about the conscious mind being the dominant, and that ultimately the communication that we have with our higher power, with God, comes through the conscious mind, like a super consciousness. And that's never made sense to me. Somehow, intuitively, that didn't feel right. And it was when I discovered Julian Jaynes that I started looking at it differently and started seeing that, in fact, the divine communicates with us through our subconscious.
The divine, say that again, the divine, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
The divine, say it again, the divine communicates with us.
The divine communicates with us through the subconscious, not through some outside agency or some super consciousness, but through our very own subconscious minds. And most of us don't give credit to the power of our subconscious. The subconscious mind basically runs us about 90% of our day.
Yes. Yes, and a lot of that time we're on automatic pilot, correct?
Exactly. Anytime you know you're on, anytime you sense yourself being on automatic pilot, your subconscious mind has been in control. So you can get in your car and drive somewhere that you've been a million times and get there and not know how you got there because you were totally unaware of driving. Getting up in the morning and taking your shower and doing your hair, those are things that you do absolutely automatically without paying any attention to what you're doing because you know those tasks so well. That's your subconscious being totally in control. And it probably is in control of most of us about 90% of the time. Some of us more than that. So when does our conscious mind kick in? Our conscious mind kicks in when we are learning some new thing. It's only when we have to learn something new. This is why affirmations work. Because when we're doing affirmations, to replace an old belief with a new belief, we're actually going into the conscious mind, and we're allowing the egoic mind to take control, to teach the subconscious, the intuitive mind, some new thing. And that's basically what they've discovered is one of only 2 times that the conscious mind really is in control. Is when it's teaching something new or when it's saying no.
Well, wait a minute.
When it's vetoing.
When it's teaching something new or when it's saying no?
Right. When
Okay,
it's
but with
vetoing something that's coming up from the subconscious.
Okay, but with our conscious mind, we select, we direct, we choose, we discern, we evaluate. What about that? Or are you saying
Actually,
no?
it turns out that isn't true. That what happens is that all of those functions take place at the subconscious mind, and our conscious mind accepts them, rationalizes them, and puts them into action.
Wow. Fascinating. That's 4 words. Fascinating.
Yes.
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
that's pretty deep. Okay.
So what they've determined, what they've discovered in neuroscience today is that the conscious mind processes between 16 and 40 bits of information a second. It's just like a computer. Yes, no, yes, no, yes,
Wow.
no. Between 16 and 40. The subconscious mind processes about 16 million bits of information a second.
A second. 16
Yes.
billion bits of information a second.
Million.
16 million, well, that's huge. 16 million
Yeah.
bits of a second. Okay.
Okay? What that means is that the subconscious mind is processing 1,000,000 times more information a second than the conscious mind.
Wow.
And yet, over the last 3,000 years, the conscious mind has become a veneer over all of that processing power in the subconscious mind, and we think it's in control. It's that egoic mind, the monkey mind that the Buddhists talk about. And it's the reason why so many of us have such a difficult time getting in touch with that deep intuition that's the voice of the divine in us, because it's coming up through the subconscious, and the conscious mind does not like to relinquish control.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of acronyms for the ego. Edging God out.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
But it's also saying no. I find that absolutely intriguing that it accepts the concept of learning something, of accepting something new in, but it's also the thing that says no. And I wonder how often someone's life either expands or contracts in relation to the number of times that you're just saying no, or that your conscious mind is saying no.
Yes, I think that is a very real possibility. But remember that all of the beliefs that you hold are at the level of your subconscious, that your conscious mind has installed all of that information in your subconscious mind. And so the beliefs are held in the subconscious. And when the new input goes in, the subconscious, this is the reason it's working so hard, it has to filter out what to reject. And so your life experience is based on what your subconscious mind has rejected in terms of sensory input. So it turns out literally that believing is seeing, and not the other way around.
So for a person who says yes, then I practice yes. I say yes to everything. I say yes much, much more than I say no, which is why I'm too busy and I'm undersleeping. But for a person who says yes all of the time, what is the difference between that person and the person that may be letting the word no, their conscious mind, know their lives to death?
Okay, let me explain what I mean by that, because maybe I'm not being clear. Okay. When I say that the conscious mind says no, when an old belief is implanted in you, most of our beliefs, the vast majority of our beliefs were implanted in us before we were 10 years old. And so we've continued to operate on this childhood package of beliefs. What the conscious mind can do is when the subconscious mind comes up with one of those old beliefs in any given situation, the conscious mind has the ability to say no to that. It has a veto power over that. And it can say, no, I choose to do something different. And then it has the power to teach the subconscious mind that new activity. But other than that, the subconscious mind is basically making all of the decisions.
That's intriguing. So then what it is it's that the mind is not saying no. What it is rejecting a certain pattern of thinking.
Yes, exactly.
Got it. Okay, that's real
And
clear.
so it turns out that using our conscious mind is roughly analogous to learning a new sport. So if you're learning to play tennis, you're learning to play golf, you're making lots and lots of mistakes as you do, and your conscious mind is involved with the process of learning how to do that. But there reaches a point in time where you've embodied that skill and you no longer have to think about it. It just happens automatically. Now, sometimes playing golf, you'll take a swing and you'll know instantly you've done it wrong. That's the point at which the conscious mind would say, no, I need to modify my swing.
Got it.
The same thing is true in all of our life experiences, that as our lives unfold and we are experiencing negative experiences and we no longer want that, our conscious mind, this is why your affirmations work so beautifully, because our conscious mind has the ability to say to the subconscious mind, no, we're not going to do it that way anymore. We're not going to believe that way anymore. And then has the ability to teach it through repetition, through a whole variety of means, over and over again, what the new belief is going to be.
That's fantastic. So, because I think a lot of people feel shanghaied or a victim of their subconscious thoughts. Yeah. And what you're saying very clearly is that we have the ability to say no to those beliefs that can limit and thwart our life experience and say yes to supplanting them with new beliefs, new ideas.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I believe that the reason we feel victim to our subconscious, Janine, is not because our subconscious is overpowering us, but because we have, in the Western world, become so used to the idea that our conscious mind is in charge, that we've lost contact with that subconscious part of us, and we need to relearn that. We need to get in touch with that again, because it's a relatively young phenomenon in human evolution that we haven't learned to use appropriately yet, and it's kind of taken over. And frankly, it's a wonderful tool. It's a terrible controller, and we need to get it back under control again.
Yeah.
But the way we do that is by learning to really pay attention, to focus on and really sense what our subconscious mind is telling us, so that we can change those beliefs that aren't working anymore. And that's where the conscious mind can really be a powerful tool.
And also mindful awareness practices become so prevalent and so important. So many people are talking about it. And that's where we can really begin to see what's going on with our automatic behaviors.
Absolutely. In fact, I mentioned earlier on about Julian Jaynes and his research about the conscious mind only coming into existence about 3,000 years ago. There's some interesting, really fascinating stuff in ancient scripture that coming from about that period of time that really bears this out. For example, in the Babylonian scriptures, it says, "My God has forsaken me and disappeared. My goddess has failed me and keeps at a distance. The good angel who walked beside me has departed." And when you read Psalms, you read David in the book of Psalms, over and over he asks questions like, "How long, O Lord, will you turn your face from me?" It's clear that people had the connection and to the divine and literally were speaking with the divine on a regular basis and lost that ability. And it's immediately after that, in the next 1,000 years, that all of the great religious teachings, all the great spiritual teachings, Vedism, Buddhism, Jesus and his teachings, all of the great teachers came along in that next 1,000 years. And what were they doing? They were teaching us how to get back in touch again. Right. They were teaching us how to be mindful, how to pay attention, how to listen, and knowing that, as Jesus said, it's done unto you as you believe. It is not done unto you as you think. It is not done unto you as you say. It's done unto you as you believe. And those beliefs are held in the subconscious. And so what I have been working on is all about really getting in touch with that in myself. And it's why the book hasn't been written, because I'm still in dialogue.
Fantastic. Wow, that was one long answer to a great question. Fantastic. I would like to tell our viewers that they can check out Julian James. It's Jaymes. He studied at Princeton. He's a neuroscientist if you want to check into it yourself. But in the meantime, we'll be back in just a few moments talking more about evolutionary consciousness with Dr. Frank zumMallen from the Awakening Ways Spiritual Center and with Christina Goetjen of the Daniel Gale Agency in Cold Spring Harbor. So stay tuned for more of Spirituality Rocks.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully, I am divine.
Guys, ready for the show? Yeah. Enjoy.
For professional motorcycle transport and towing, think Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing. Proudly serving all of Long Island, we feature expert handling and 24/7 service. So send a limo for your toy with Kickstart Fabrications Motorcycle Towing.
Brooklyn's best locksmith and hardware.
We have 3 of the largest showrooms of safes on display and in stock. You can see and touch them in person instead of browsing a catalog. We carry gun and rifle safes, burglary safes, jewelry safes, fire rated from a half hour to 2 hours. Famous name brands.
We sell Gardol.
We sell AMSAC.
The new AMSAC touchscreen.
If you're ever in need of a safe, think Brooklyn's best locksmith and hardware. Right, Lockie?
That's right, Alan.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully, I am
15.
Welcome back to Spirituality Rocks. I'm your host, Janine Burns. I'm an interfaith chaplain, and I teach New Thought spiritual principles. I also do a lot of weddings. My website is I Love to Do Weddings. I also do Celebration of Life memorial services. That website is youarethelight.org. I do spiritual coaching, too, and I work with people in crisis. I'm just really thrilled with our conversation today. We're speaking with Dr. Frank zumMallen via Skype. He is with the Awakening Ways Spiritual Community in Atascadero, California. His website is www.awakeningways.com. And in studio...
.org, Janine.
.org, www.awakeningways.org. And in studio, we have Christina Goetjen of the Daniel Gale Agency in Cold Spring Harbor. And how can the viewers reach you?
The easiest way to reach me is by email, Christina Goetjen, Goetjen, at danielgale.com, or you can just text me, 917-837-1114.
What I like about Christina, Frank, is that she matches people to their homes. Isn't that fabulous? She
Yes.
matches people up with her home.
Well,
so.
interestingly enough, I've also been matching some people up with people lately.
Ooh.
And you know, something that you said earlier really stuck in my mind, which is we carry around so much from the time we were 10 years old and younger. And I have watched in my community good marriages break up, good relationships break up because someone can't get out of their own way because of something negative that happened to them growing up. And they just repeat the non-working relationship over and over and over again in their life, never understanding why they can't get it right.
Absolutely. How many times have we ourselves been in relationships and gone from one relationship to another, and it was the same relationship with a different face and a different name, but exactly the same relationship. And we do repeat that pattern over and over and over. And you're right, it's because as children growing up, for our first 10 years of life really embed in us all of the beliefs that we carry forward in our lives, unless at some time we identify what those beliefs are and we change them. It's the reason why the Jesuits always said, give us the boy till he's 10 and we'll give you the man for life.
I so agree with that, and I say that all the time.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully, I am.
Are you planning an event and want to include entertainment, but you're not sure where to turn? Act1Entertainment.net has provided over 1,500 events with quality, affordable live entertainment at private parties, corporate affairs, festivals, bike rallies, and more. Act 1 will fit into your budget. They're friendly, reliable, and do all the legwork for you. They take all major credit cards. Log on to Act1Entertainment.net for a free, no-obligation price quote, or call 631-758-3505 for a brochure. You'll be happy you did.
Guys, ready for the show? Yeah. Enjoy it.
Peacefully, joyfully, I am divinely guided. Peacefully, joyfully, I follow my inner guidance. Peacefully, joyfully,